Welcome to Comfortable Conversations. I'm your host, Jas Kirk, where we dive into the greatest gift life can offer us, discomfort. These honest yet comfortable conversations we will have are essential as your life is your canvas. In each episode, I will share practical wisdom and personal stories that guide you through life's big questions, encouraging growth, self-discovery, and deeper connections in your everyday life. This week has been these past few weeks have been extremely transformative in the sense that there were some moments that I was like, what do you need in this moment? Mm-hmm. Like, if you could have anything right now, what is it that you need? And I was like, I just need to be able to take a breath. Like, I feel like I just need to be able to breathe so that I can think. Mm-hmm. And, when you're spiraling, it's like, I just needed to be able to breathe. So I was like, so then just breathe.
Yeah.
Like, let's just take this moment and just take one breath. And then I was like, okay.
I'll take another breath.
Then take another one. And I was like, so what do we need in the next 10 minutes? And I was like, rest. Like, my internal system was like, rest. So I was like, okay, let's rest for the next 10 minutes. And I just breathed and I rested. And then after 10 minutes, I was like, okay, what do we need in the next hour? And I was like, more rest. Like, that's, my body is like, I've been sick. Mm-hmm. Like, you just need more rest. And I was like, I need to trust the rest. Like, I'm not allowing myself rest because I'm worried and I got to trust it.
Yeah.
So then I took that hour and I was like, okay, oh, you feel so restored. And then I woke up with this, like, you really got to trust the rest. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to start learning to trust that moment. And I think that's where I kind of wanted to start, because we all have to have those moments where the stillness, the non-movement, the nothingness has so much power and restoration, mm-hmm. but we avoid it at every cost. It's like, no, I still gotta, like, you can't give yourself that for some reason. I deeply struggle with that. The perfectionist in me, like, struggles with, like, but if I'm not doing something, then I'm not enough. And I've been having to sit with that so immensely that it's like, we know you want, like, you've said to the universe the desires of your heart, and they're all right in front of me. And life is like, I didn't tell you to get out the chair. I said, be still. And I'm like the little kid, like, but I see my teddy bear right there. Can I grab it? No, be still and it'll come to you. And I've just been getting up and life has kept, like, sitting me back down.
Mm-hmm. I have two things. The first thing is also, and this used to be a really big thing for me, is like trying to control the time of the rest. You're like, even when you were saying it, you're like, okay, an hour has passed. Now what do I need? Like, no.
Yeah.
Like, not controlling like how much time that rest may be or whatever it is. And then two, another thing you said, but just like as Black women, our value being measured in like what we do, or like our output.
Yeah.
That's another one.
So what's crazy with that, like, I knew that's just the marker that I needed, but my body, like, I rested for several hours, but I'm also in this space of like, you have to rest. And in this season, it's consistency. The consistency is there. Like, but it's the rest and everything else to, like, just be still and rest. Mm-hmm. And it's such a vulnerable space because, like you said, I don't know how long that is. And that patience in that, the control freak in me is like grappling, like, okay, I'm done. Like, physically, I feel better. I'm not sick anymore. And it's like, no, we're still in rest.
Yeah.
And it's like really leaning into trust the rest. There is trust being built here, like trust in yourself and so much. And even as Black women, we started Women History Month. Essence just had that huge brunch for Black women.
Oh, Black women in Hollywood.
Yeah. And it's like, what do we need to hear? What reassurance? Because it's like we are always like robots at some point of perfecting. You get to a certain age, and it's like, what are you supposed to have accomplished or society? And even though everyone says like, no, you shouldn't like measure up to that, but it's like internally we've been taught that. Like, how do you turn that off? Like, you have to literally go inward and be like, shutting down all systems.
And it's not even like turning it off too. It's like, it's unlearning.
Yeah.
It's like, no, this is not true.
Yeah. So that's where.
That's like lifelong work.
Yeah. It's been, and it's like, and I think I messaged you this week and I messaged Alana, like, we pushed one of the episodes because I'm like, no, like all I need is to breathe this week.
Yeah.
And if this allows me a moment to like catch my breath, I'm going to take it versus like all the rules that are out there. Like, but your insights and your data and your analytics. And it's like, I got a lifelong journey in this podcasting thing.
None of that shit matters.
None of it
matters, but it doesn't. Like, everything's fake.
Fake it till you make it. We're not faking it till you make it.
No, it's fake. It's fake. Yeah. But yeah.
We started with that was a heavy one. I had to lay it on you.
No, that was it was a good vulnerable confession, if you will.
Comfortable Confessions Part 1.
Oh my God. That's for the OnlyFans page.
Little do they know.
You want to monetize?
Here y'all go. Like, man. But what's also crazy in building this podcast, the amount of people I didn't know being on this journey, the amount of yeses I would get. Like, there's been parts of my journey where I'm like, oh, I really want to step into this lane. And I've met obstacle and you get no after no after no after no. And it's like, in those moments, you're like, oh, it's just like the hardship of this new challenge, this new thing I'm doing. And now I'm learning, like, maybe that just was like the sign of the map that it's like not this way. Because now, like, when I'm just out naturally and not even thinking about the podcast, it comes up in conversation and like I'm booking guests and they're like effortlessly, like, I don't even get to finish what the podcast is about. I just am like, we're talking about discomfort and I think your story would be, and they're like, yes. And they're pulling out their phone to put it on their calendar for the date. And I'm like, bro, so it's the 4th of the, like, I'm trying to schedule and I'm just like in awe of like, y'all are, it's like an automatic yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, recently I've been trying to really understand, like, is that what flow is really like? That it's like all the doors are so open.
Yeah.
All the green lights are like.
You don't have to force anything.
At all.
But that's also like you are basking in your authenticity. You know what I mean? Like, you're not like putting on, like, this is like really who you are. Like, these are the conversations you have on camera, off camera, on mic, off mic. Like, you're literally just existing in your purpose.
Yeah.
And like, I think that's like when you do that, everything flows.
Yeah. Well, y'all, if I'm being super transparent, I'm unfolding as the cameras are on, as this experience is happening, as everyone shares their story with me. I'm learning, unlearning, unfolding. Sorry, I'm having a moment. Like, I was listening to one of my favorite podcasters and he was sharing how, and he does sermons and stuff, and he was sharing the words like come through, like the impact is within ourselves first. And we happen to get to touch other people in it, but like, I'm just telling my story.
Like a vessel.
And yeah. And so lately I've just felt so immensely like that like I started a podcast talking about discomfort, but I have to sit in my own discomfort. Y'all, this is the first
I
time.
hope they're waterproof.
Oh shit! This is like Fab knows. This is genuinely the first time I've cried uncomfortable conversations. But
I'm honored.
We are 20 episodes launched, but we have 6 in the bank. Still recording, and this is like my soul work. So every conversation genuinely is like it's just so beautiful, and like the experiences I have and just being able to sit and listen to people, it just really, I don't know, I don't have the words. So I hope this art form, y'all feel it and see it and know like it's just so pure, and it's like bearing our souls up here,
Yeah.
That's how we started things. You made me cry.
You're welcome. I'm sure you needed a release.
It was a week. I was like, damn, all these lessons. God.
That's right. You still look good. You're
good. Listen, if y'all know,
the lashes
Jas,
are lashing today.
Thank you. And that camera,
thank you.
Because that camera angle knows it could be like all up in your business.
Nah, you're gonna have to drop that mascara. It is curled.
What mascara do I use? Anastasia.
Oh.
Better Than Sex.
Yeah. I forgot about that one.
That's my like go-to, that or Dior mascara. Like, I know the drugstore ones, everybody's promises by, but you get you a $30 mascara, do it different.
So I tried the YSL one last year. Everybody was swearing by it, and I liked it, but it was very clumpy. I don't like a Wednesday Addams, like type of clump.
That's not me, girl.
Yeah, but I mean, it definitely elongated them, but I was just like, y'all doing this clump? Anyways. Quick beauty break.
Listen, I do a few applications, like, and then I gotta take breath. Like, my mascara is my go-to. If my lashes ain't right, we got a problem.
Next IG reel.
Yeah, I do gotta do an
eyelash
even that
tutorial.
like. That's a topic I really want to discuss, like the pressure of startups, entrepreneurs, like telling our stories. And then it's like, there's so many, because Alana is always like, Jas, that's content. And sometimes I'm like, I'm exhausted. Like I have to do all of this and still, build a following, have people connect with me when I'm like, sometimes I don't want y'all to connect with me. Sometimes I want to have my private moments, and like my get ready with me's are my getting ready for something that I'm about to be on with. And how do you share yourself to the world, but also still honor your privacy and honor those moments that you find sacred? Like when I'm getting ready, that is my moment of, I have a nice drink. If it's a latte, if it's a mocktail, if it's a cocktail, it's where I'm starting to feel sexy and confident, putting the music on. I don't want social media in that moment. And then how do I narrate that story to say like, oh, the people who can do it, I think are amazing. Like I am like, y'all are talented, because how you get from here to there to this to that. But there are so many moments where I'm like a little discouraged with it, because I'm like, I need to be doing this, but then I'm also in this space of really honoring, like, but it'll come out in another way.
Yeah.
And they, like, my audience can engage with me what's most authentic for me. Because when I tell you, like, I'm like, that's a sacred time for me. Like, I love my get ready without y'all. Because, like, right now in this room, there's several cameras and I'm on in that, So
I think that's actually important. You have to, like, keep things for yourself. A girl I know who I really love watching, President Kennedy Johnson. She has a YouTube channel. She's been YouTubing for forever. And there's just certain things she just never shows. Like she'll never take the camera out like with her friends or like anything like that. She keeps it very like in the crib. Maybe if she's doing like an influencer trip or something, but like she'll recap it after. But like that boundary I've always admired because it keeps it separate. And as someone personally, who's just like good at a lot of stuff, like I don't have to monetize everything I'm good at.
Yeah.
Like bring back hobbies. We can have hobbies without like being like,
oh my God, how much does this cost?
Yeah, like, oh, I can make this a side business. Like, no, you can like if you want to play tennis, like go play tennis and you don't need to record it.
Like, or everything doesn't need to be. And it's about like, I bring it up because it is a huge conversation for, people entrepreneurs, people starting out a business, people wanting to grow their following, people still staying true to themselves and authentic, but also the algorithm and all of this. And it's like, where do you draw the line? And it's also like, you see a lot of people who have went viral or something were actually really true to themselves. Is it Nora James or Nora?
Oh, you're talking about
what's her name with the baking?
Yeah, like Nora something.
I don't know. Yeah, don't know her, y'all. But the point is, like, she was just telling her story, and then now it's like this trend that everyone wants to do, but she became viral because she had skin conditions and stuff, and she started baking for herself and just telling her story.
Right.
And that's where, like, even with Comfortable Conversations, ultimately I sat down and had
Nora Smith.
There we go. Nora Smith. Nora James is like an artist.
I don't know. It sounds like a jazz singer.
Georgia Smith, I think it was. I don't know. Who the hell is Nora James? But anyway.
Shout out to Nora James.
Wherever you are, girl. But it's like really being willing to tell your story. And like, I think I grapple with, instead of being honest and saying like, that's not my way. Like, that's what this rest has allowed for me to be like, trust yourself and knowing like, when I said I didn't want to do events anymore, like I had to trust that voice to say no.
Yeah.
No. And when I do it again, it's from this very pure, authentic self. When I say, no, I don't want to do this type of content, it's just because that's not me. And I don't want to share any version of me that's not authentic, because then you guys can really, truly connect.
And you want to honor yourself. Like you got to honor your own boundaries, even, and I literally just said this yesterday. I was on the phone with my brother for a really long time, and I was like, just because I can doesn't mean I have to. Like I'm in the season of, and I think we talked about this, like it's really easy to like pick up other people's projects and neglect your own stuff. And like, I'm putting my foot down on myself because I have things that I want to do, and I have to stop like using that energy and pouring it into other people's work. You know what I'm saying?
Like the empathetic part of you is like, oh, I can pick this up and like run with it and do, but it's like, no.
It's also easier to like, it's easier for me to be like, oh, you want to, okay, cool. We just have to do blah, blah, blah. But then like for me to sit down with my own stuff by myself, I'm like, ugh. So it's like my brother was asking me, he wants me to do this like project with him. And I'm like, I believe in it. Like, I think it's cool. It would be dope. No, I'm sorry. Like, I cannot. I absolutely cannot. I have to honor the things that I want to do first now.
My brother sent me something along those lines years ago, because he would see me like, he said, you have to give up the good for the best. Like you have good intentions, but it's like, it's okay to not do the thing that's really, really good, because you have to get to that best. And it's like, get to that. It's okay to like, just say no to that. And it's really so much power in being like, no. Yeah. Like, but also knowing like, they'll be okay. It'll be okay 100%. Without you.
And then he was on the phone and he was just like, I mean, I'm cool if it happens or not. You see? That triggered me, because I was like, if like, I said yes really and poured all my... Yeah. No, don't call me for help unless you're like, I'm life or death. I need your help. Like no. This means so much to me. Those are the projects, sure. Not a good idea. Don't do that. And people have to, like, that's a discernment too. And it's not like that was my reason. My reason was already no, because I'm like, no, this time is going to be for me. My energy is going to be for me and my projects. But like,
my man said, oh, okay, cool. You was
but
like,
it's true.
That's
people don't even want to do their own stuff. They want other people to do it. They want to be like, oh, this person will be, let them do it for me. No, can you do it?
No, I've had to learn. I've had to really set that clear boundary because I have a lot of people who reach out if they have a new business idea, they want to talk through something, they want to plan an event. Like I would have people say like, Jas, I want to partner with you. Okay. Partnership looks like two people coming together and you have your parts you bring, you have your parts. Not all the heavy lifting on this side and on your side, you're like, I love that. I you don't realize what you're asking for is being aligned with me in a way that like you get to take all of this, but you've drained me because I've executed the idea, came up with the plan of the event and everything, and you've really contributed nothing. And you think you have, like, you know, and you meet a lot of people like that. And then they feel a way if you're like, no, this isn't in alignment with me, or you don't show up for something. And it's like, this is not a personal attack, but you got to figure out what really aligns with you, because asking someone else to do the work and not recognizing like, I see that you're asking me to do all the work.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a group project in college or high school, Bookie. Like, no.
Oh my God. That just made me, you can always tell who the people were in the group projects.
That were just sitting back and just like put their name on it and stood up there with the poster. Don't even hold the poster. Don't you dare hold that poster. Like, I am definitely the person, if it's a group, like I'm like spearheading. All right, guys, at the board. Like, and now I'm like my personality, I have to execute. But
I too.
Now I'm learning to like sit back and like see people. The more I'm in a space like this where I have to listen, it really makes you take this listening skill out into the world and listen. Like in meetings and everything, I go into it and I still have my intentions and I, you know, make sure I set those agendas. But now I'm like, be still and listen. And you really, really, really get to listen to like, some people waste your time, man. Some people don't have clear direction. Some people just don't even know how to just start executing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's like, are you into like human design?
What's that?
Oh, yay. I love being the one to introduce people to this. So it's very similar to astrology because it is based on the birth chart. Okay. But, and a lot of companies will like you take a test and you figure out who you are. And there's like 4 main ones. Oh yeah. Generator, manifestor, projector, and what's the 4th one? 1 second.
Is it diplomat? No, it's not something.
No, but that's another one.
That's another.
But it's like these. It's a reflector. There we go. Okay. So projector, reflector, manifesting generators, and oh wait, hold on. Sorry. Now that I've confused myself. All right, hold on. Let me redo this. Okay. So the 4 ones.
4 types of what?
Okay, so these are the 4 types of human design, like the main ones, categories, because there are instances where you can be like 2 or, you know, whatever. Manifestors, generators, reflectors, and projectors. I'm a manifesting generator. You take this test and like you figure out where you're at. But like a lot of companies will actually, before they build teams, will have people take the test and then they'll build teams based on who people are. And like the projectors are like the people like kind of like the catalysts, I would say. So like you're like a project manager would be a really good projector. The manifestors or the generators, they're the executors. Yeah. And then the reflectors are kind of like, they're like the fallback like people, but they're the support. Yeah. So it's like every person has their place and has their specialty, But the beauty of it is like really learning, like, I'm my best in this way, or in this group setting,
and own it.
Yeah. And so like for people who aren't good executors, that's okay. But like, don't try to be an executor, like lean into your forte and then find an executor to partner with.
But understand your value. Like that's the thing of like understanding what you bring to the table, because for someone else, they're like, we're not playing on the same playing field, and you have to recognize that. But if you present yourself like that, and I notice you're not, it's like,
but that's like, people like not knowing themselves, or like not being confident in the things that they bring, or just like wanting to be things that they're not. Like, like I have an ex that had the greatest ideas. When it came down to actually doing the things, horrible.
Yeah.
Like he just needed that help to be like, get there. And then also like, I mean, you can go into more depth of like the ADHD of it all and like all that stuff. But like at a high level, people need, like, for me, I think like once I finally write the things that I want to do down, I'm like, I was reflecting the other day. I was like, I'm exactly who I say I am. Like, I literally, like, anything I'm like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, it's going to be a guarantee. If anything, you're like, what don't you try to do? I'm like, everything.
But that's also why sometimes it takes me a while to decide what the thing I'm writing is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like, also because I know like power of tongue and like all the, the energy of it all. It's like, okay, as soon as you are like, I'm going to commit to this, it's going to happen. So like.
So years ago, I was living in Florida. It was like 2016, 17. And Beyonce Knowles' dad wrote a book. And
Michael?
What is his name?
Michael Knowles, I think. I don't know. Go ahead. It might be Matthew.
There I was like, see, that's why I don't even say the name. I'm like,
he's just such a prominent character. So I was like, no, it's an M. I think it's a Matthew. Michael, don't kill me.
Don't quote
anyway,
us.
Her
daddy, right, wrote this book, or taught them like the talk to do ratio. If you talk about it, you should do it. And when I heard it was on the Breakfast Club, I think they either had interviewed him or this book came out. And I like really resonated with that, because I was like, if you talk about it, you need to be doing it. And how much are you talking about things versus doing them? And so like I started to look at my life in a different way, because I was like, well, if I bring it up, I better be doing it. And then I started to look at people. I was like, man, that person talks about this thing over and over and over, but I've never seen them do it. And it just started to have this shift. So even when you talk about the power of the tongue, if I speak something out, it's like that accountability of like, oh my God, I'm going to do it. Me saying years ago, I'm going to do a podcast, I had to build myself up to that, but we knew I was going to do it, because my talk to do ratio is like, if she's talking about it, she's going to do it. And there's a lot of people who I feel like they just don't know how to hold themselves accountable on that side.
Yeah.
Like they'll talk about it, but then they're like in their head about consistency. Starting a podcast, I get people all the time who are like, man, I started one, or I stopped, or like they're asking me like, what did I do? How many episodes are we in? And like a lot of people don't know, when I started this last year, we tried to kick this off when I was doing it at my crib. And then it was like, let's edit it. But then I was like, this is not the way. But I knew it's because I couldn't be consistent. And then when I finally like found this studio and everything, I booked sessions for 4 months. Like they could only book out in 4, like I could have booked the whole year, because I was like, that's how consistent I want to be. And I don't like canceling meetings, because then I have to like have a rational, like logical reason why I need to cancel that. Or I'm just like, no. Like even if we have a meeting scheduled, it's like, it's hard for me to cancel. Like once I've put that on my calendar, like I hold myself to that. So when I established like, okay, you're going to do a podcast, I focused on what is my why and consistency.
Yeah.
And then I was like, if you focus on these two, everything else will come. Because when you don't want to do it, that comes within there. And there's so many times I'm like, I don't got it.
These are like really good tools to have, like how to keep yourself accountable. Like whether you have to like trick yourself or like give yourself homework, calendar, like I think we all have, or at least us responsible people have these tricks that like, cause like, yeah, I don't, I mean, some people use it like a gym membership. Like, okay, if I'm paying for a gym membership, I'm going to go versus like using the free gym in my apartment. Well, free, you know what I mean?
I pay my rent.
Yeah, I pay my rent. But it's just like, I think that's like the key to completing tasks. Like for me, I get off by like doing a to-do list and then checking things off and then, or like not even crossing them out, but like checking them off so I can see what was completed. You know what I mean? Like productivity
is like everything. It's like, that is what keeps you consistent. Cause I get a lot of people ask me about that. They'll be like, man, but I'm not consistent. And I'm like, consistency is literally just like one day at a time.
Yeah.
And it's like that one habit over time compounded gets you to 20 episodes. The habit of we'll do this in advance and be strategic. And then it's like, you can take a step back, adjust how we need. Like people don't see behind the scenes of, we started with one camera. We started with Fab trying to edit it. We started with like going back and forth. And then it was like we were able to see within that what's working, what's not working. Let's add 2 cameras now. What's working, what's not working? How are you editing? And it makes me become a better producer in front of the camera and behind the camera. Like there's so much I've learned within this process of creating a podcast that like before I'm just like sit in front of the camera. And now it's like, no, like how do you tell a story? How do you tell a meaningful story? How do you have meaningful conversation? In an hour. How do you gauge that time? How do you once that camera turns off, how do you translate that story? How do you build subscribership, listenership? How do you keep people coming back? Like, what do those analytics tell you? What is that? Like, it's just like so much.
It's like really important. And to go back to this conversation I had with my brother yesterday, like, so the project he wants me to do or that he's interested in, it's like a TV show basically, or if he wants to like create this TV show and pitch it. And he's been interested in film and TV and acting. Like he was in some older 90s movies. My brother's like, this is my oldest brother. So he's like in his 50s now. But he's been interested this entire time. And I finally asked him on the phone yesterday. I was like, how come you've never gone to school for this?
Yeah.
Like, how come you've never like done a class or anything? Because like, even if you're beyond and you just want to be like an executive producer now, you know what I mean? And like, you just like, you want to connect the dots for people and like see the things made. But like, there is value in understanding like the ins and out and the details.
Yeah.
It makes you like better as a whatever you want to be, even if you're over here. But like, there is value in learning like the foundation of something that you're involved in.
It's abundant. Like it's an abundance of like being able to teach that back. Like I'm like, God gave me like the keys to the keys to the keys, because now like I can't wait to share to anybody interested of like, how do you build a podcast? How do you build, once I monetize on YouTube, like how do you do that from scratch? Because I got to do it from scratch. I didn't get to do it from a huge following. I'm like day by day, step by step, like this by this. And it's phenomenal. But it's also like when you talk about like, he has this interest, and the child like in me, I always was a storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
So like baby Jas at 7 is like so excited that I finally like let her play.
Yeah.
Like people just don't realize like I'm always been a phenomenal speaker. I've never been someone shy of like being in front of the camera. Mm-hmm. If you were like, hey, I need you to go on the podium and talk about this in 10 minutes, I'd be like, sure.
You're like, I have a podium.
Yeah. Like, but and some people are like, oh my God, you don't get nervous. I'm like, that little like butterfly right before the first word. Yeah. But after that, it's like,
Yeah, you're natural at
It's
it.
natural. So it's like, but when I was very young in my bedroom, just like creating stories and loved writing and journaling, like that is the version of me that's like, I honored her now to
Yeah.
finally be like, we love storytelling. We loved playing with your Barbies and coming up with little stories. And now I get to hear people's actual stories. But this is like a childhood dream that I didn't know would manifest this way. And I'm just like honoring the art in that. Like, this is my art. And like your brother, it's like, why won't you see, because you're also an artist, that you're like, I see your art right in front of you. Why you just won't like try this?
Yeah. And I also know why. And that's like, we won't even get into that. And he knows why too. But it's just like, I just like, there is value in that because now, and you know what? And I think it's like a generational thing too, because if you work in like corporate and you like interact with some of these execs that like, I remember I used to work, I've lived a lot of lives. If I went through all the jobs I've had, you'd be like, girl. But so I used to work at Tommy Hilfiger and I worked for this, like the VP of marketing, many moons ago. And this man couldn't even put his passport in his airline ticket. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why are you so not self-sufficient? Really kind dude, but it was just like people who just rely on like the assistance of it all or other people doing like foundational work. Like, you need to be able to function.
He said, no, I have somebody for that.
He called me in panic one time and was like, oh, my TSA, whatever. And I was just like, hey, I guess on my off hours, I will log in and do this for you. Like, sir, if you don't put this check in properly, like, but it's just like, it's a bunch of like, I've worked for so many people who are leading teams and they don't know anything.
But they're not the one. That goes back to like the 4 types of people. Like, they're in this box and they're like, somebody else is supposed to be handling that.
Yeah,
And
I'm going to hire the people to get it done. But it's like, but now like the people you've hired are more informed. I was trying to be nice. More informed than you.
She got her word, y'all.
Yeah, more informed. And now it's like, why am I teaching up to the person that hired me? And you make it more than me? I hate that. I'm sorry.
That's the part that being in real estate, I was like, I'm helping people win big business. My paycheck doesn't see that win.
Yeah.
Like, yay.
That's their business.
Yay, we won.
Maybe a bonus.
Like, the bonus is not even hitting. So it's like, I have always been someone who's like, put me in the game.
Yeah.
So everything I've ever said I wanted to do, I've like journeyed down and like researched to be like, how do I put myself in the game? But now I'm unlearning how to like not force it, like saying what I want, but letting it flow to me because I've always been like, she gonna go get it. Jas is gonna come back and got it.
Yeah.
But it's also that learning from at the beginning of this conversation, like learning to be still and trust the work that I've put in and be able to like sit and be like, it's gonna come.
Yeah. Full circle. At the top of the episode. And what? It's already coming.
Yeah, it is.
It's arrived.
But I'd be crying. Like, as y'all didn't see the episode where Fab was like, when we were talking about meditating, and Fab was like, sometimes you slide down the wall, cry, throw up.
Yeah.
Cry. This week
both things can be true.
You'd be like, oh God, this is like, but I think those moments happen so often. And I really want to hold space in here to talk about it because I'm like, I had a meeting yesterday before I went to this event. And I said, it was a woman in real estate. And I said to her, like, man, I really feel like I'm hitting a wall. And I just like, I seen her present at a panel, asked to have a coffee chat with her. And we ended up having a later call. And I don't know what in me just came to the call, like just vulnerable. Cause I'm like, okay, I was like, this is what I want to get out of this call, blah, blah, blah. But then I was at some point she was sharing and I was like, I just keep feeling like I'm hitting a wall and this is really difficult and I don't know anymore. And she's like, yes, you have those moments. And she's like, you have to have some days or weeks where you step away completely from it. And then she's like, and then you have that moment where you think about real estate is not an industry that has brown people that look like us. And we have to work harder and we have all these obstacles and loops that we have to run through. And then something in you ignites and reminds yourself, like, this is why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And you're able to get back up again and do it because you want to see that difference and want to help your own people or just yourself in this. Cause I told her, like, my why again of I want to build legacy in this. I wish to be a developer because that is one of the toughest things, but it's going to build legacy for myself, my kids, my kids' kids. And like, that's what anything I've ever created, a podcast, to do media, a honeydew, to create community. It's to build legacy for when I have kids or my nephews or my brother. Like we are a generation of change makers and impactors and shifting the culture in a way that you're like the Kirk family. I want to be up there. Like, I'm not to say with the Rockefellers and all that. I don't know what they'd be doing, but it's like
Kirk Franklin.
No, but it's like your name holds weight and legacy in a way that like we become the first millionaires within our family. And like, I have a child who one day I was at the Spanish Symphony and I was like, I saw these little kids there and I was like, on a Friday night, this is what I'm excited to be able to expose my kids to when I have them, because not that my mom and dad weren't able to, but they didn't see that. I get to experience this now to now know this is an experience I want to give to my kids. And like, that's a conversation I've had with my brother when he's just shared like certain things that he's like, I just want my kids to be able to enjoy being kids. And I was like, well, bro, like they do. Like, look at Jaden, look at Cam, look at how they've tried every sport they could try. Like they play and they're just joyful. Like you're succeeding in that. Like that, this is the moment you sit in it and like they get to be kids and like they know how to express themselves and their feelings and feel heard and seen when, not to say there was anything wrong with us growing up, but like we do come from a generation where our parents are like, you got tears to cry, I'm gonna give you a reason to cry some more. So put them back, put them up. And it's like, now we're unlearning all those things. So, Fab was like, girl, that was a lot.
No, that was perfect. I think we're at time.
We are at time. Do you got one last thing to leave the people with?
One last question. Short answer. How are you taking care of yourself this weekend?
Resting. Like, less is so much
like
more.
Untimely rest. Like, untimed.
Yeah, I really got to do that. But yeah, just resting and not forcing anything or any work or anything like that. Like I'm just like, be still.
Yeah.
Like even sit in the discomfort of the stillness, because it's not that it'll last forever. It's just like embrace it because it's here.
Nice.
Yeah. That's it.
Yippee, that's it.
Oh, that's it. So we encourage y'all, sit in the discomfort. Let it allow what's meant to come up to come up. It's really genuinely a gift. This comfortable conversation was really special to me because, I don't know. I just feel like I opened up to you guys in a different way. Like, it's new. I don't know why this feels like a new season.
Like, because it is. It's spring.
Yeah. So. All right.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you for joining me, Jas Kirk, on Comfortable Conversations. Remember, the greatest gift life can offer you is discomfort. It's what shapes us, teaches us, and helps us grow. If today's episode resonated with you, share it with someone who might need it, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a conversation. For more information and updates, follow us on Instagram at Honeydew. That's HUNNIDUOE. Until next time, keep embracing life's challenges as opportunities to create your masterpiece. Your canvas is waiting. Go paint it beautifully.